rape has been an ongoing issue in India, especially with the way that authorities handle rape. However, people were thinking that things were getting a little better, and now we have a case where it shows that things still need a lot of improvement. There was a 14-year-old alleged rape victim in India that went to the authorities to file a complaint, and she was allegedly told to strip naked and prove to a police officer that she was raped. After that happened, she did complain to the police officer, and fortunately, he is being questioned, and the man who allegedly raped her is being investigated. But, I mean, that's a perfect case of adding insult to injury. A rape victim comes in, and I don't know if it's because they want to further victimize these victims, or if it's because they just haven't been trained properly on how to deal with these types of situations. But I mean, I don't want it. I just can't give them that benefit of the doubt. I mean, I think it's common sense that you don't tell a rape victim to strip down after she went through something so traumatic.
Well, I don't think it's actually something where they have not. I think partly it's they haven't been trained. You know, that there's a lot of training that goes into this, because remember, in the United States, you know, 20 years ago, women were still grilled on the stand. You know, were they asking for it? Did they dress provocatively? You know, that there was in some ways quite a bit of blaming the victim here in the United States just recently. So it's obviously a long-term cultural shift that has to happen as well to make this change. The training has to improve for the police officers, but I think it's also part of, it's part of the culture that says that, a rape victim, a woman is a second-class citizen in India, no matter what the actual laws say. In effect, in reality, they're second-class citizens. And in this particular case, when you have women and girls, their value is primarily predicated on whether they're a virgin at the time that they're, married, that's their most important thing of value about them. Then I think that it perpetuates this kind of culture where, you have to prove that you have not been raped, because that's the thing that matters most to everybody, is your virginity.
It's so important to have, a sexual revolution in so many different countries. And what I mean by that, and I'm not trying to belittle the horror of this story, but when you have that kind of revolution, when you have women stand up and say, no, my value is not based on my virginity or my hymen, that's stupid, and I'm not going to follow those rules, that's when society starts to change. That's when culture starts to shift. And of course, it's very, very difficult to do that when you have countries that do honor killings and just brutalize and terrorize these women. But at the same time, another really good way to battle that and combat that is to spread education to those regions of the world, so people understand that, hey, your way of thinking is holding your entire country back.
Now, I always thought India was full of nice people.
It is full of nice people.
It's a cultural,
So what's with all the raping and all the, turning the blind eye to the raping? It doesn't sound like what nice people do. You know what I mean? Like every person from India I ever met in the United States, they're always the nicest people in the world. They're so nice.
Oh, no. I'm not even going to go there.
I can do
well,
accents.
You can say, obviously, that there are going to be terrible people within any group of collection of human beings.
It seems a bigger problem in their society, right? Why is it now they're just figuring out that rape is bad?
And just to put things into context, though, Jimmy, it's not like, yes, the United States is better, but think about what the political climate was like during the last election, where you have politicians trying to redefine what rape is. When you have politicians trying to pass legislation for transvaginal ultrasounds if women want to get abortions. You have the same type of assault on women here in the United States. It's just not as brutal sounding as what you see with this particular case, or the rape that happened on a bus in Delhi. But you have to make sure that you fight back against this type of mindset, because if you allow it to happen, it's just going to get worse.
Well, it can also be a generational thing as well. Here in the United States, again, that over time, as the older generations have died off and their prejudices have died off with them, thankfully, we have experienced major cultural shifts in major areas. And when you look at Southeast Asia, there was this amazing study, you guys, about how 1 in 4 men, I think, or the high prevalence of rape of men. I forget the actual statistics, but a high prevalence of men in Asian countries report having been raped. And, when you talk about stigma, that's a huge stigma right there. And to me, I think there's a lot of, it's based in the culture's attitudes towards sex. So as that culture begins to shift, as, the ideas of civil rights and the rights of individuals to be secure in their persons, as that continues to be spread throughout this ideal that you have a right not to be raped, that is spreading out throughout the world, that we'll see this shift, but it is certainly not happening fast enough for the people in those countries, especially the women.
Well, 1 in 4.
I could be getting that number wrong.
Yeah.
It's, I think, 1 in 4 women report being,
No,
I'm
1 in
mangling the
4,
numbers, but you know.
Yeah, a high percentage of men admitted to having sex with their wives against their will.
Oh, that's right. 1 in 4 men admitted that they had raped somebody. And in that same study, there was a high prevalence of men who reported having been raped. So there's different
Really?
statistics.
Yes.
Sorry, I mixed
Man.
those up there.
But how do you have sex with? I don't know how a man has sex with a woman when he's not feeling like it. I just don't get it, because you have to have an erection, and that means that you're thinking about it in the right way anyway. Like you're kind of I've gotten disinterested in sex in the middle of having it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't understand if
Don't
you
name
really,
any names.
if you really
That's
don't.
not nice.
I'm sorry, Tina. The point is, hey, come on, garlic. Anyway, the point is, I don't understand how a guy can be raped by a woman. I guess it could
maybe not
happen.
raped by a
Yeah.
woman. In this case, it could be men being raped by men.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well,
you know,
Asians are hairless, so those guys, that's going to
Male-
happen more often.
Male rape is a real problem and a real
is,
issue.
yes.
And
We
of course,
spoke
we're
about it
making fun of
yesterday,
it. So,
yeah.